I didn't have a person, a male role model to show me how to open the door for a woman or open the door for a woman or buy her flowers. They really like flowers. Nobody bought my mom flowers. I never see my mom get flowers. And so it's just like I never seen that male role model just showing me how to treat a woman. So as I grew up and I get women or I get girls or whatever the situation may be, I'm in relationships. I learned through my relationships, through failed relationships, to learn how to treat the next woman. Then you fail in that relationship, learn how to treat the next one.
Man, you...
See, you had a couple of shots of Academics on the album.
There's only one shot.
I thought it was on 2 songs. I thought it was a song with Future.
One shot.
And on the Turning Point record, right?
Academic niggas think they can't get touched. Meaning somebody who be on the computer all day.
Gunna ain't never gonna work with these niggas again because y'all don't understand the emotions that this man had to go through to sit here and see so many people turn against him about something he has no control over. I understand everybody feel like, yes, ma'am, he said yes, ma'am, to everything on there, that he knew that people was committing crimes. It's no convictions. Why is y'all looking to hate this man? It's no convictions. Y'all just envious, broke, weak-minded people. So the thing about it is, the F Discreet movement was only to save face with Thug. You feel me? To let people know it's okay to work with him. That ain't had nothing to do with Gunna. Gunna ain't never gonna work with these niggas no more. Why should I work with people that try to destroy me when God got you and God said it's gonna be okay? You look at them type of people and you smile and say, I'ma pray for y'all. You know Gunna fan base is a whole bunch of pretty girls. You know my girl pretty. She told me, the cute girl love Gunna. I done left her right in and down. I done got jealous of Gunna. Nigga, you better leave my girl alone. I'm gonna crack your head. You understand me?
Wanna feature that nigga, just say that. You wanna feature that nigga, just say that.
You have a problem with that?
You damn right.
Okay, explain.
Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why did we have to go through so much shit for y'all niggas to feel like y'all gonna put the money first and y'all gonna come together? Y'all could have been squashed the beef. Y'all could have been came together a long time ago. Y'all could have. But now y'all saying, man, this shit ain't about... Bro, you know how many people sitting in jail for the rest of their life behind this shit? You know how many families that still broken behind this shit? You damn right. I come from this environment, Vlad. I come from here. I didn't want to go to war with people. I didn't want to have people as enemies. I wanted to be friends with a lot of them because we was friends. See, a lot of y'all don't understand. We wasn't never always enemies. We were friends at a point. Lucha is not an enemy to me. I could go out this door right now and see Lucha and keep going about my business. I'm not here to try to tear nobody down. But at the end of the day, man, y'all so selfish that y'all showed the world how selfish y'all is. Y'all could have easily let it go and went y'all separate ways. Y'all ain't got to work together. Too much don't happen for y'all to try to work together. That's why I feel some type of way.
Some beefs explode on Twitter. Others start in songs. But the most dangerous ones, they start in private and leak when nobody's ready. Because when Young Thug's jail calls hit the internet in September 2025, this wasn't just another rapper venting behind bars. These calls ripped open years of Atlanta street whispers about loyalty, women, and one name nobody expected to hear dragged into it like that: Future, a so-called day one, a collaborator, a legend in his own right. And suddenly, the same guy Thug once stood beside was getting roasted in the most personal way possible. Not on a track, not in an interview, but in raw, unfiltered phone calls Thug never meant for the world to hear. And once fans started connecting the dots, the story turned way darker than anyone imagined. Because this wasn't just rap beef anymore. This was betrayal. And what came next had Atlanta buzzing. The moment those jail recordings surfaced, the internet went into detective mode. These weren't polished statements, no PR spin, no filters, just Young Thug locked down, talking reckless, emotional, and way too honest. Clips spread fast. TikTok, Twitter, gossip pages, reaction channels, everybody had something to say. At first, people laughed it off. Just jail talk, Thug venting. But then Future's name kept popping up, again and again. And that's when the tone shifted. Because this wasn't random shade. This sounded personal, deep, old, like something that had been building for years and finally spilled over when Thug had nothing left to lose. And buried inside all that chaos were rumors Atlanta had been whispering about since the mid-2000s. In Atlanta, These certain rumors don't need proof to survive, they just need repetition. For years, people quietly talked about tension between Thug and Future, not over music, not over money, but over women. Same city, same circles, same industry events, IG models, video vixens, industry insiders, the same faces rotating through the same rooms. And when two powerful rappers move in overlapping worlds like that, lines get blurry fast. Back around 2015 and 2016, during that messy era of subtweets, label tension, and industry politics, people started hinting that the real issue wasn't Metro, or releases, or egos. It was personal. Names like Jerica Carly started coming up, alleged encounters, industry parties, situations that supposedly happened when Thug wasn't around. Nothing ever confirmed, but nothing ever died either. And when Thug went down, those whispers didn't fade. They multiplied. Once Thug was fighting his case, the dynamics changed completely. He wasn't outside anymore. He wasn't present. He wasn't protecting his circle. And that's when the rumors switched focus. People started side-eyeing women close to him. Cleopatra, old relationships, new ones. And eventually, the name nobody wanted involved got dragged into the mess. Mariah the Scientist. Fans knew her as Thug's ride or die. The loyal one, the artist who publicly held him down while he was locked up. Which is why, when those jail calls dropped and her voice was clearly part of the conversations, the internet froze. Because what she was saying made people uncomfortable, and what people started assuming made it worse. As more recordings surfaced, and it became obvious this wasn't light frustration, Thug sounded hurt. He questioned Future's character, his authenticity, the way he moved around women, the way he carried himself as a man. He accused him of being fake in the studio, asking for advice in private, then switching up when other people were around, especially women. That hit a nerve. To Thug, that wasn't just corny behavior. That was disrespect, and coming from someone he once trusted, that stung. But the most brutal part wasn't even the insults. It was the disappointment. You could hear it in his voice, like he genuinely believed Future wasn't who he pretended to be. And then Thug brought up the moment that changed everything. According to Thug, the breaking point came when Future allegedly declined to support a free Young Thug benefit show. Not because he couldn't, not because of scheduling, but because he didn't want to steal Thug's shine. That excuse didn't sit right. To Thug, it sounded like cap, like fear, like someone protecting their image while a so-called brother was fighting for his freedom. And Thug made it clear, if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't have hesitated. No thinking, no PR concerns, no distance. That's when the resentment turned nuclear. Because in Thug's mind, that moment exposed the difference between real loyalty and industry friendship. And once that wall cracked, everything else came pouring out. What really set the internet on fire was Mariah's role in the calls. She wasn't silent, she wasn't passive, she chimed in, she joked, she criticized. She spoke like someone who knew Future's patterns a little too well. And that's when fans started asking the question nobody wanted to ask. Why does she sound so familiar with his behavior? Suddenly, timelines got dissected. Lyrics from her song Rainy Days were reanalyzed. Lines that once sounded harmless now felt defensive or ironic. Blog posts popped up. Thumbnails went crazy. Did Future smash Thug's girl? Flooded feeds. Nothing confirmed. No receipts. But the irony was impossible to ignore. Mariah had publicly claimed loyalty. Yet here she was, roasting the same man she was now being rumored to have crossed lines with. And whether it was true or not, perception had already done the damage. But while the internet was focused on drama, Thug was dealing with something far heavier. All of this was happening against the backdrop of one of the most controversial cases hip-hop has ever seen, the YSL RICO case. Muir Thug wasn't just locked up, he was fighting for his life, facing decades, watching his label crumble, watching friends fold, watching his world collapse piece by piece. The arrest itself looked like a war zone. Helicopters, drones, snipers. Multiple agencies moving in like it was a movie. Prosecutors claimed YSL wasn't just a label, but a criminal organization. Lyrics were used as evidence. Art was framed as confession. And the pressure? Unimaginable. Being locked away while the world keeps spinning without you does something to a person. Isolation doesn't just make time move slower, it forces you to sit with every regret, every doubt, and every unanswered question. There's no distraction, no escape, just walls, silence, and your own thoughts replaying on loop. That kind of pressure changes people. Stress doesn't politely knock. It kicks the door in. It exposes cracks you didn't even know were there. And fear? Fear strips every filter you've built to survive in public. When freedom is uncertain, image stops mattering. Pride slips, emotions spill. Those jail calls weren't strategic, they weren't calculated, they weren't meant to shape a narrative or win a public battle. They were emotional breakdowns caught on tape. Raw moments where frustration, paranoia, betrayal, and disappointment all collided at once. And deep down, Thug knew it. He even admitted that no matter what he did after getting out, those calls would probably surface one day. That awareness makes it even heavier. Imagine knowing your most vulnerable moments could be replayed for millions, dissected by strangers, and turned into content. But still talking, still venting, like still letting it out because the weight was too much to hold. And when those calls finally leaked, the damage was permanent. Yes, Thug eventually walked free. But freedom didn't mean relief. Time served came with a price tag: 15 years of probation. Heavy restrictions on where he can go and who he can be around. Entire zones of his own city off limits. Associations cut short. Every move watched. One mistake, one wrong call, one wrong conversation, one wrong headline, and the door could slam shut again. YSL, once a dominant force in Atlanta, didn't survive the storm intact. What used to feel like a family turned into a scattered collection of survivors. Artists took deals, distanced themselves, or disappeared entirely. The label lost momentum, the culture moved forward. But scars don't vanish just because the spotlight shifts. Future's camp brushed off the leaked calls as nothing more than old jail talk, emotional venting that shouldn't be taken seriously. And maybe, from their side, that's true. But the public doesn't experience moments like that in context. They experience them forever. Because once something that personal becomes public, there's no rewind button. You can't unhear it, you can't reframe it, and you definitely can't pretend it didn't happen. Any chance of reconciliation? That door feels bolted shut. Too much was said, too much was revealed, too many lines got crossed in moments that were never meant to leave a prison phone. And that's why this story wasn't just gossip. It was a real-time collapse of trust. A reminder that loyalty in the rap game is fragile, especially when pressure replaces comfort. And proof that the most damaging moments aren't always planned or intentional. Sometimes they leak. Young Thug's jail calls didn't just expose Future. They exposed the cost of fame, the mental toll of isolation, and what happens when silence finally breaks under pressure. And the question still lingers. Was this ever really about women? Or was it about loyalty being tested when it mattered most? Either way, Atlanta felt it. And nothing's been the same since.